would say I'm not at the point of reflection yet. We're doing.
Pressure is a privilege, and I think if you have that, that means that you have a deep sense of responsibility to this city.
I think when something feels good and feels right, your gut tells you that, you trust it and you go for it.
The Calgary Wild FC, or football club, is after your attention and your sporting dollar in this inaugural season.
We're thrilled to have you all join us today for a very exciting moment in the Calgary Wild FC's journey.
The lone women's professional sports team in the city will play their first game April 16th in a new all-Canadian 6-team startup league. This new venture is banking on the pitch to draw in fans. It's a crowded Calgary professional sports landscape, including professional basketball, lacrosse, 3 hockey teams consisting of the Flames, Wranglers, and Hitmen, and another soccer draw, Calgary FC. In the next half hour, we'll draw from 3 perspectives: the National Super League president, the Calgary team's marquee player, and Calgary Wild FC's head coach, each sharing how this team and the NSL hopes to draw in new fans, how the league plans to tackle startup challenges, and addressing what success looks like for Calgary Wild FC. We start from the top with Northern Super League president Christina Litz.
When you look at McMahon Stadium, it's a place built for football, but a different type of football. How do you feel about this massive venue? Because over 30,000 people can be put in this stand.
Let's get 30,000 people in these stands.
And that first conversation she had about putting the pieces together to build a women's professional soccer league in Canada.
Yeah, I mean, there's so many elements to building a professional league, and then additionally, every single one of our teams or our clubs across the country. The sports and entertainment business is so complicated, increasingly so. You're now dealing on a worldwide platform. Never mind that soccer is an international sport. But there's so much attention, a competition for attention across so many different leagues and teams. And so this business has become complicated. So really, out of the gate, what you look for is the right people to bring around to the project. And so I think what we have around the table is both owners who bring not only a tremendous amount of passion, but realistically, like this incredible business experience. And they've been through it all, so that's really helping. And then I would say at the league office, we have some of the best sports business professionals that have agreed to join our crazy journey here.
That includes Calgary-born investor and NHL hockey player with the Winnipeg Jets, Josh Morrissey.
From the moment the opportunity was presented to me this past summer, I knew it was something I wanted to be a part of.
Who believes in the vision of this new Canadian soccer league.
Growing up here in Calgary as a young hockey player, I was fortunate to have an NHL team and NHL players to look up to in my city. Now, with Wild FC coming to Calgary, young women will have the opportunity to look up to a professional women's team playing at the highest level and look up to incredible athletes.
According to Litz, Morrissey adds to the checklist of success, with the league also relying heavily on one other key element: the players.
Which really for us is probably the most important factor that we can, and we're happy to say, that out of the 150 or so, Canadian women playing professionally around the world, 60 of them are coming home for this league, and to us that's an amazing start. Not to mention that, not only do we have former legends and superstars joining this league out of the gate, but we have current national team players that have already, exceeded our expectations for this first season. And so we're really pleased with that, but we have more work to do.
Banking on the recent success of women's professional sports in North America from the WNBA, Women's National Basketball Association, and PWHL, Professional Women's Hockey League, Litz is cautious but optimistic about their own league's success.
I think Lara and the group have some great plans to build out the fan experience here. So, you know, whether we have 5,000 or 30,000, you're going to have a great time. This is going to take persistence, and this is going to take time, and this is going to take continued investment, both from our ownership group and our sponsors and the fans showing up and supporting the vision and these athletes who are playing this game. And so we need that sustainable.
Other ways, as Litz says, this league was built by players for players who are concerned with salaries and being provided a living wage to play.
Out of the gate, we will have one of the highest salary caps in professional women's soccer on the world, 1.6 million, which compared to some of the men's professional side, you know, there's room to grow, but in the world of professional soccer, that's a healthy salary cap for what we're doing, and we have minimum standards. You can't be paid less than $50,000, and we, you know, looking for opportunities as well for all of these athletes to get endorsements from brands that are so excited to have these Canadians home and playing in their country. So it's been built into the DNA of our league from the get-go, but suffice to say, we're not going to be satisfied unless we see these salaries continue to go up.
Then there's the challenge of attracting fans to this new league, distracted by the numerous pro sports choices here in Calgary. But Litz doesn't see that as an obstacle.
The exciting thing about professional women's sports right now is this is not about competition. Have your favorite men's sports team continue to do what you want to do. What's really exciting about the professional women's sports movement is really that this is expanding the pie of people who are interacting with sports.
Yahoo! Some say wins and losses are a team's true measure of success. But for the president of the league,
this is about sustainability. This is about finally giving Canada a professional women's soccer league, you know, and taking their place, their rightful place in the world for you know, the way we play, the amount of girls that play soccer in this country. We deserve this league, and we need to make sure that it's strong enough for decades to come.
Coming up, Calgary Wild FC's first player signed, Farkhunda Muhtaj, born in Afghanistan, and now feeling the weight of a Canadian city on her shoulders.
Pressure is a privilege, and I think if you have that, that means that you have a deep sense of responsibility to this city.
Piecing together Calgary Wild FC. Piecing together Calgary Wild FC as they embark on their inaugural soccer season, April 16th, has been a tall task. Scouring the world for the puzzle pieces that will ultimately determine the success of the league. One of them is Afghan-born Farkhunda Muhtaj, who is the first footballer signed to the Calgary Wild FC roster on a team she identifies as culturally unique.
And I think that was done intentionally as well, because Calgary is such a diverse city, and so is the province, but people don't necessarily recognize it as that. And so now us as these trailblazer women that are part of the league, but part of this mosaic and team, we're able to pretty much showcase that every single day on and off the pitch.
A responsibility to the city and a trust that Muhtaj readily accepts.
But also lead with grace and strong morals and ethics, and I think that's what we bring to this team, and specifically that's what I hope to showcase through this city and province. I want everyone to rally behind us. I want everyone to feel very proud of representing Calgary Wild FC, and that comes with responsibility on our end, and I hope we can pave the path for future generations in this city.
A future paved with optimism, but also uncertainty, as the National Super League is in fact a startup with unfamiliar team names, players, schedules, and for some fans, unfamiliar with the sport itself. Risks Muhtaj has considered.
Certainly this is a startup business. The NSL is a brand new league. All the teams are brand new teams as well, and it comes with a lot of risks. And I think we all recognize that, but I think that's what makes this so profound and what makes this so special is everyone that's part of this genuinely believes in the mission, and we all understand that we kind of have to go outside of the scope of our roles to make this possible and make this successful and something that is sustainable long-term as well. And so to be able to do that right from the beginning and be a part of this process means a lot and is really honorable, and I think we all take that with a sense of dignity and pride, and we're excited for what's ahead. We might seem like we're simple, but we're just waiting for the right time to attack, and we're going to be fierce throughout the season. We all know that regardless of what your football background is or who you are as an individual, that you are meeting a minimum financial criteria coming into this, and we know that you won't have to resort to other jobs or working, second, third jobs like you did maybe in the past playing abroad. And so I think a lot of players that are coming into this league now feel like they can be a full professional and have that full experience. And that's really rewarding to know, because now you can focus on your sport and develop and grow. And that's really exciting for the city and province and nation as a whole.
Most of the pieces are in place for the team to succeed, but according to this footballer, there is no accounting for unexpected challenges as the season progresses.
This is a brand new league. No one has an idea of what the caliber will be on the pitch. No one has an idea of, financially what this is going to look like in the future. We also have a huge stadium, which is fantastic, and a beautiful stadium. Do we know if we're going to fill it and how many fans we're going to get? Those are so many unknowns, but I think the way we can frame it is, because this is a brand new league and a brand new team, we get to dictate how that looks like, and so does the community. And so it's a collective effort that we all are taking to make sure that this is truly representative of who we want to be and what we want to stand for. And so that flexibility piece gives me a lot of optimism, and so it's a challenge worth taking.
May 11th, the Calgary Wild FC hosts their first home game at McMahon Stadium. The Canadian Women's 6-team soccer league embarks in a 25-game season beginning April 16th. A business and franchises that will measure success in a number of ways. For Moutage, her measure is more grassroots.
Success to me at the end of the season is having more young girls starting to play soccer, staying in the game, and also hopefully shaping the future of the game. But also, for me personally, it's really deep playing in this league, because people from Afghanistan, unfortunately, and specifically the women, don't even have the basic rights that I do. And so I feel like playing in this league, I'm living the dream of millions of young girls, and I want them to be proud of that.
McMahon Stadium is a place steeped in history, which has witnessed triumphant achievements of countless athletes over the years. That significance is not lost on Moutage.
Gosh, sitting here at this moment right now, we see the stands empty, but I can only visualize May 11th, what that looks like, the excitement, the cheering, the fans coming out and rallying behind us, and then that being a pedestal to what the rest of the season will look like for this city. So I'm so excited, and I can't imagine what the season has ahead.
A player's optimism for the future of a league, ready to hit the ground running. This journey into the unknown for Calgary Wild FC is sprinkled with leadership from the top down. That also includes the Wild's first head coach, Lydia Bedford.
I think when something feels good and feels right, your gut tells you that, you trust it and you go for it.
Coming up, her vision for this team's future. Calgary Wild FC is just weeks away from their first home game, May 11th. Leading the team is England-born head coach Lydia Bedford, who continues to coach since 2019, highlighted by being the first woman to take the lead at a U18 men's team level in the UK. Expecting to return to her Brentford squad, a team in the UK she currently coaches, she received an unexpected text from her agent that would alter her coaching journey forever.
When that message came out of the blue, my first thought was, is it the right time? Having just spent a month away from work, and Brentford paid me to go to the World Cup whilst I was there. It didn't feel right to me just to walk away from the boys that I was working with in the middle of the season. And on top of that, my mum had just been diagnosed with lymphoma cancer. So from a family perspective, it was a little bit of is it the right time for us as a group?
After a conversation with her parents, who she says have always supported her coaching journey, she returned the call to the National Super League. And after a few minutes, felt an immediate connection to the female leadership group in Canada.
Yeah, so I think that one piece was the connection that I felt with the leadership group, because you can sit and you can listen to their intent about the project and get really inspired about how they want to develop things. And I think the one thing that links to that connection was they had a real passion to do this right. And to be able to, as a coach, step into a brand new environment, although that sometimes comes with its own challenges, you've got that scope to be able to develop it exactly how you want.
Come on, let's go sit down over here.
Oh,
I love your facility, by the way. It's fantastic. Here, come on, have a seat. I'm gonna put this microphone on you.
Okay.
With a roster of 21 and more signings to come, Bedford admits that creating a connection with players will take some time. But for her, stepping out of her comfort zone is common practice.
I've done it before, if that makes sense. I did it when I went to Brentford and took on a role that no females had ever had the opportunity to do. And then I solidified myself in that role and I got comfortable. And I don't like that feeling of being comfortable. I like the feeling of being challenged and trying something different. So I think the adrenaline part of me that, wants to push myself and take myself out of my comfort zone was the part that went, do you know what, this is just a really great opportunity. Like, why would you not do it? And I think with everything I've learned with family right now, like, life's too short. And I didn't ever want to be sat back regretting, you could have gone and lived in Canada and experienced a whole different culture and league, but you decided to stay doing something that was comfortable and easy. And that's just not really in my nature.
Bedford also accepts the reality of an upstart league and the challenges that come from that. But she says she has a plan to create successes on and off the field for her new team.
I believe that we're providing a platform for people to access football, as I would call it, that maybe isn't as easy for them to access with Cavs. Like, our home stadium is right in the middle of Calgary. It's easy to access on the train line. But I also don't think we're competing with anybody. So when I think about the growth of football in England, for years people said, like, who's going to come out and watch women's football? Who cares about women's football? Like, are you trying to steal the men's Premier League fan base? And, just this weekend, Newcastle women, who have only recently in the last year been promoted to the Women's Championship in England, got 30,000 people at St James's Park. And when we had the Euros in England, you've got 90,000 turning up to Wembley. So I don't think it's about competition. I think young boys and girls want something that feels accessible, that they can relate to. And women's soccer is really family friendly. So in terms of who it attracts, I imagine there's going to be a ton of parents in the area who've got young kids who are crazy about sport, but maybe, they don't have the funds to buy 4 tickets to go to a Cavs game, but maybe ours is at this moment in time a little bit more affordable for them. And it's about creating a culture and environment where they come, where the players, the young kids that are coming to watch, they actually have access to the players and they build relationships. In England, women's football is accessible to fans. Like, players stay on the pitch after the game and they interact with the fan base. They go and sign autographs. They go and thank the fans for coming. You don't see that in the men's Premier League in England. So we're going to create a connection with our fan base that might mean that maybe first couple of games, the numbers start where they start, but it's only going to increase because you create a buzz and a culture when people come and they enjoy the experience they have. And if we can make that really friendly to families and to young people, then we'll attract more and more people as the season goes on.
Some will argue that goal can be achieved with wins, which Bedford staunchly believes. Although she has another measure of success, and that is through the professional women she coaches.
I'll take the most pride out of what our players say about our program and how we made them better footballers across the season than I will the results, because I can control almost 100% of what they get given and how they get developed. I can't control 100% of what happens when they cross the touchline on a match day. So we want to provide an environment for the players that is the player's choice in the NSL. When other teams are looking around and they're thinking, how's it being done and where's it being done really well, they're looking at us and going, actually, every player I've spoken to at Calgary Wild FC absolutely loved the season, grew as a player, developed on and off the pitch, is a better person as a result of being in our environment. And you know what? We won a ton of football games along the way. And when they look back on this in 10 years' time, I want this to be, when they're sharing their story in another club in the future, that moment where they're like, you know what, that was the best experience I had in football.
So it's not just wins and losses?
No, it's never just wins and losses, because the results that happen, people forget about them, but the feeling they have when they're in your environment stays for much longer.
A steady focus from the team's head coach, a solid vision from the league president, and a proud player setting the standard for her teammates to follow. 3 key women that make up the many pieces that are laying the groundwork for the National Super League and the Calgary Wild FC. Time will tell if the 6-team Cross-Canada Women's Soccer League season will be a success when the inaugural season kicks off April 16th.
We've got an incredibly committed group of owners around the table, and together have made the single largest investment in women's soccer in this country, and they're committed here for the long haul. None of them are naive about how long this will take, and so with that we're confident. But look, we are doing what we can to expose this product to as many people in the next couple of years, and with that, after that, for sure, we want to see, the broadcast revenue come in at the levels that you would expect in a professional league. We want to see all of those sponsorship deals go up, and to our earlier discussion, we want to see our players happy and thriving, and really being alongside their male counterparts in professional sports and taking their rightful place, which can often be reflected in pay, but really it's so much more than that. It's again being seen as sports heroes and idols for that next generation that are not only going to inspire future players, but are going to inspire next generation boys and girls to see women as powerful and strong and amazing, and these players that have dedicated their life to this in a way that I don't think people have realized, but we're going to continue to tell that story. They deserve that, and that's what we want to see.
I'm Phoenix Phillips. Thanks for watching.